next one, it is peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage. Okay, which is also said to be PIV. Okay, so if you just recall the characteristics of one second, ma. I don't know whether I have started. Okay. So in the previous classes we have seen like the forward and reverse characteristics. Okay, so when the diode is forward biased, it was conducting. When the diode was reverse biased, it was not conducting. And see here the voltage level. Okay, if the reverse voltage crosses beyond this VBR, the diode will be damaged. This is what we know. Okay, so here peak inverse voltage. See, as I was mentioning, when I was deriving, okay, maybe it is not in this PDF. Okay, fine. So what we were doing when the diode is reverse biased, okay, so you take the half wave rectifier when it is reverse biased. Okay, when it was reverse biased, here it was negative and here it was positive, and this was open. Okay, this was open and this load is RL. Okay, so the current through the load was 0. Okay, current through the load was 0, so because of which the voltage across this V naught is also equal to 0. Okay, so now this is negative and this is positive, and maximum peak voltage, that, see, this is what the input we have taken. So the maximum peak voltage was Vm. Okay, so here it will be Vm only. Okay, so now I need to find what is the reverse voltage that is applied to the diode. Okay, so because there is a limitation, right? So if the diode forward current, reverse voltage, if it exceeds the breakdown voltage, then the diode will be damaged. Okay, so here we need to find out what is the PIV of this. PIV in this is voltage across this diode. Okay, that is what we need to find. Okay, so voltage across this diode we need to find. Okay, so that let me denote as VPIV. Okay, I will come again. Here we need to find peak inverse voltage. Peak inverse voltage. Okay, it means that when the diode is reverse biased, okay, so what is the maximum peak inverse voltage that can be applied to the diode? Okay, so if you just take this is the sinusoidal signal which I have considered. So when the diode is reverse biased, the maximum reverse voltage that it was getting was Vm. Okay, so I've taken Vm. Okay, so now I need to find, and it is the diode is reverse biased. Okay, reverse biased, if you just recall, I'll have very small minimal current that will be flowing in this direction. So current is flowing in this direction, so this is positive and this is negative. That is the reason I have taken the symbol here positive and here negative, since it is reverse biased. Okay, or in other way, P, this is here P and this is here N. P is connected to negative and N is connected to positive. Okay, so that is what I have represented here. Okay, so now it is since it is reverse biased, I need to find out how much voltage that the diode can withstand. Okay, so that peak inverse voltage across the diode I need to find. So that the name itself I have given as the voltage here across the diode itself I have given as VPIV. Okay, so I need to find this voltage. So in order to find this voltage, let me just apply KVL. Okay, so I'm moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction, the first symbol is plus. So plus VPIV, and here next symbol is minus VM, plus 0 is equal to 0. So VPIV is nothing but VM. So the peak inverse voltage of the half wave rectifier is VM. Okay, so if the voltage is so whatever Vm I am fixing, it should be it should not exceed this maximum voltage. Okay, so the diode whichever I am selecting here, the reverse breakdown voltage should be less than this Vm only. Okay, so that is what this peak inverse voltage will is all meant about. Any doubts you have? Is the concept clear? PIV, peak inverse voltage, is it clear?
Yes. Ma'am, so okay. Peak inverse voltage is equal to breakdown voltage then, is it?
See, it should be less than that. Peak inverse voltage should be less than the breakover voltage of that particular diode. Okay, so whenever you're choosing the diode, you should choose that if I'm giving 12 volts peak to peak, if I'm fixing this as 12 volts peak to peak, so whatever diode I'm choosing, its breakover voltage should be greater than this 12 volts. Okay, only then you will be able to reuse the diode again.
Understood.
Okay. Okay, that is what this peak inverse voltage. Next we have one more parameter, transformer utilization. Transformer utilization factor, TUF. Okay, so transformer utilization factor. Okay, from the name itself, it says that how efficiently the transformer is utilized here. So here when we took the half wave rectifier, where is that half wave rectifier? Okay, when we took the half wave rectifier circuit, I told you that we are using the transformer. So how efficiently this transformer is utilized? Okay, that factor you need to find out. Okay, so that is given by TUF. TUF is nothing but in short form. Okay, TUF is given by we will calculate by taking DC power delivered to the load by the transformer divided by power rating of transformer. Anyway, either I mention AC power or not, it doesn't matter, because transformer is meant for AC only. Okay, so DC power delivered to load and AC power rating of the transformer. So we have already calculated what is the DC power of the load. It was like I square RMS into RL. Okay, I square RMS. So sorry, IDC, no. DC current, DC power I'm calculating. So IDC square into RL. IDC is nothing but Im by pi. This is what we have got the derivation. That's why I was telling you, you people have to remember these equations. Okay, so if you just check the what is that quiz questions also, I've given in the same way. Okay, so I've asked you to tell mark what is IDC, what is IRMS, all this I've given. Okay, so Im by pi whole square into RL. This is your DC power. Okay, in the same way, I need to find power of the transformer. Okay, transformer. So it is given by VRMS. Generally, the power rating of the transformer is given by VI. Okay, VI will give you the power rating. Okay, so VRMS into IRMS. So what will be your VRMS value and what will be your IRMS value? Can anybody tell me? You need to apply your logic and tell me. Don't blindly say VRMS. Here VRMS of transformer and IRMS of transformer. Okay, transformer. Here you have the transformer, no? Okay, I want the VRMS and IRMS of the transformer. So can anybody tell me what will be the VRMS of the transformer? Try ma. If it is wrong also, no problem. I'm telling you, no, you have to just try. Don't worry whether it's right or wrong. Attempting is important in my opinion. Okay, so you just tell me the answer. Yes, ma'am.
Im by 2.
Vm by root 2 is for VRMS of transformer, and IRMS?
Im by root 2.
It is Im by 2. Why I'll tell you? Im by 2. Why I'll tell you? See, that is what I was very particular to explain you. See what happens. The voltage here is nothing but I have the sinusoidal signal. Okay, so for sinusoidal signal, the root mean square value is Vm by root 2. Okay, but IRMS, you may ask me, ma'am, IRMS, why it is Im by 2? Even that is Im by root 2 only, no? But no. Why? Because we have already calculated the IR. See, the same current flows throughout the circuit. Yes or no? The same current flows throughout the circuit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, when the current, same current is flowing, what was the IRMS value we have found for this waveform? It was Im by 2, right? So the same current flows through the same current is even flowing through the transformer also. Okay, so VRMS, that is the voltage, that is the input voltage. Okay, so that is the sinusoidal signal. But when it comes to the current, this is how we had the output current. Okay, so the same current flows through the transformer as well. That's why it is Im by 2. Okay, any doubts you have here?
Oh, no.
Okay, so it is Vm into Im by 2 root 2. Okay, so now let me substitute it. Transformer utilization factor is equal to Im by pi whole square into RL divided by Vm into Im divided by 2 root 2. Okay, so just let me just rearrange the terms. It will be Im square RL into 2 root 2 divided by Vm into Im into pi square. Okay, this Im and this Im will get cancelled. So you will be left out with Im RL 2 root 2 divided by Vm into pi square. Okay, you know that V is equal to IR. So Im RL, or Im is nothing but Vm by RL. This you know very well. Im, we know that Im is equal to Vm by RL. Okay, so in place of Im, I'll substitute Vm by RL. Vm by RL into RL 2 root 2 divided by Vm into pi square. So this RL and this RL will get cancelled. This Vm and this Vm will get cancelled. So the transformer utilization factor finally it is 2 root 2 divided by pi square. So can anybody tell me what is the value you'll get here? 2 root 2 by pi square. You need to keep your calculus ready with you.
0.2866.
0.2866. So if you just take it in terms of percentage, it is 28.66%. Okay, so here it is very less. The transformer utilization factor, okay, from the name it says that whatever I have got, it is very less. Okay, so this is one more disadvantage of your half wave rectifier. The transformer utilization is very less here in the half wave rectifier. So this is the other disadvantage of your half wave rectifier. Okay, now this is only the formula which I'll be giving you, voltage regulation. Okay, voltage regulation. Okay, so generally this voltage regulation will be given in percentage. Okay, so what it tells us is, let me just go back. I want the circuit. I've drawn it somewhere, right? I just want the circuit. Here I've drawn the circuit, right? Okay, let me just. Okay, so see here. Here I have taken the load RL. RL is nothing but the load I have taken. So how the output voltage is varying when there is see, the formula for this is given as percentage voltage regulation is given as percentage voltage regulation is given as practically when we do in our lab, we will calculate even this V no load minus V full load divided by V full load into 100. Okay, so you need to understand what is no load and what is full load. Okay, no load in the sense there won't be any resistance here, it will be open. No load in the sense there won't be any resistance here. The resistance here is 0 and we'll calculate what is the value here. So whatever voltage we'll get here is nothing but V no load value. Okay, no load, there is no load. Okay, V full load in the sense what we'll do, we will have the resistance RL, but what we'll do, we'll vary the resistance RL value. Okay, so maybe first we'll take 100 ohms, then we'll take as 200 ohms, then we'll take as 300 ohms. Like that, what we'll do, we'll increase the resistance value and we'll find out what happens to the voltage, output voltage. Okay, so V no load minus V full load by V full load will give the voltage regulation, and it will tell us how the output voltage is varying when there is no load to when there is load. Okay, how that is varying, it will be given by this V no load to V full load value. Okay, so the general logic, as everybody knows, what happens as the resistance value increases, the voltage value will decrease. Okay, so that will be like this voltage regulation will calculate when we do it practically in our lab. Okay, so this is all related to the voltage regulation. Okay, then comes one more form factor. Okay, so form factor. So what is the use of form factor here is, anybody heard about multimeters?
Yes,
multimeter. Okay, so the use of the multimeter in the sense, I'll just show you how the multimeter will be, digital multimeter, which we use in our lab. Digital multimeter. So this is what our multimeter. Okay, all these are different types of multimeters. Okay, you take anything. Okay, so this is, let me take this. So this is a multimeter which will be used. Wait, let it open. Hope you people are able to see it, right?
Yes.
What is that? Okay, this you are able to see. Okay, fine. This is a multimeter. Okay, so what is the use of this multimeter is, we'll be able to calculate the DC voltage, DC current, AC current, AC voltage, resistance. We will be able to find out what is the gain of the amplifier, gain of the transistor, and whether the diode is working properly or not, what is the new voltage of the diode. Okay, and we can even check the connectivity, whether the connections are made properly or not. Okay, so all this you can just by using this multimeter you'll be able to find. Okay, so here I have told you that we'll be finding the AC values also. Okay, AC values as I've told you, AC values in the sense, it will have let me just take the AC signal. This is my AC signal. So I'm saying that my multimeter is used to calculate the AC value. Okay, so which value it will give, whether this value, which value it will give. It will give us the RMS value of this AC signal. Okay, RMS value, effective value of this will be given. So practically when you try to measure the AC current, let me just take the example of current. When you try to find the AC current value, it will give you the RMS value. Okay, so this is what practically. Okay, but theoretically it is difficult to calculate RMS value. So that is the reason what we'll do, we will that we'll find the average value, right? So average value in the sense like the DC value, whatever you are getting in the multimeter. Okay, so that average value will multiply with the form factor so that you'll get the effective value. That is where the use of this form factor is in our discussion. Okay, so let me just give you the formula to calculate form factor. Hope you are understanding. Any doubts you have?
No.
Form factor is nothing but VRMS by VDC. Okay, so or you can even take IRMS by IDC. Anything is fine. Okay, so VRMS we have got as VM by 2 for half wave rectifier. Form factor for your half wave rectifier, VM by 2. VDC we have got as VM by pi. So VM will get cancelled. It is pi by 2. Pi by 2 is nothing but 1.57. So the form factor of your half wave rectifier is 1.57. Okay, so these are all the derivations related to the half wave rectifier. Okay, so as a then and there I was mentioning you the drawbacks. You can just list out the drawbacks. Okay, drawbacks of half wave rectifier. What are the drawbacks? Efficiency is less. Okay, and ripple factor is more. Okay, ripple factor is more in the sense like it is 1.21 if you just recall. Okay, so the more the ripple factor value, the more the ripple present in the output waveform. Okay, so ripple is nothing but the amount of AC that is present in the pulsating DC signal. Okay, and one more is transformer utilization factor is also very less. Okay, so the transformer is not utilized properly. So all these are some of the disadvantages. Okay, so to overcome this disadvantages, we'll go with the full wave rectifier. Okay, I hope you people are following. Coming to the advantages, the circuit is so simple and we are just using one diode. Okay, we are just using one diode and the circuit is so simple. These are the advantages of your half wave rectifier. So in the exam, they may mention the advantages and disadvantages of half wave rectifier. So in that case, you should be in the position to explain them. Okay. Fine. So to overcome all this disadvantages, whatever disadvantages we have in half wave rectifier, to overcome all this, we'll go with the full wave rectifier. Okay. So shall I go to the full wave rectifier? Have you all understood half wave rectifier thoroughly?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Fine. Okay. Fine. Now let me go with the full wave rectifier. Okay. So full wave rectifier, again we have step down transformer. We have step down transformer, but here we'll be using two diodes. Okay, these are the two diodes. Okay, two diodes, both the diodes, this is P and this is N, this is P and this is N. Let me name this diode as D1, let me name this diode as D2. The N side of cathodes of both diode D1 and D2 are connected together, and here we'll connect the resistor. Okay, so I'll draw the circuit in two different forms. Whichever you feel comfortable, you can just follow that. Okay, so this is, see, in between this point and this point, the resistor, the load is connected. So across this load only, we are calculating the output voltage. Okay, across this load only, we are calculating the output voltage. Okay, so here we need to calculate the output voltage. We have to check whether my rectifier is rectifying AC signal to DC signal or not. Okay, so how will you find out? You have to just find out the output voltage. When you give some input voltage, what will be the output voltage you need to find, and find the DC value, find the RMS value, efficiency, everything. Whatever we have done for here half wave rectifier, you need to do the same thing with the full wave rectifier as well. Okay, but coming to the, we'll analyze this. Okay, we'll analyze this. Efficiency, transformer utilization factor, ripple factor, everything is good for your full wave rectifier. This is full wave center tapped, or we call it a center tap full wave rectifier. Okay, so the reason for calling this as center tap full wave rectifier is, see, here you have the windings, right? So what we need to do, see, whenever I am applying the input, okay, let me just consider I'm applying some input here. So exactly at the center, I have to take the point and connect it to the load. Okay, so that here the voltage here and the voltage here will be equal. Okay, let me just reiterate. I have to just take the center point, exact center point, so that the voltage towards the diode D1 and the voltage towards diode D2 should be same. Okay, so that is the drawback of this center tap full wave rectifier, because to determine the exact center point is difficult. Okay, and this is also costly because of this finding the exact location of the center point. This circuit is also costly. Okay, so this is the drawback of your center tap full wave rectifier. Okay, so coming to the drawbacks of center tap full wave rectifier, you need to identify the exact center point, and the circuit is also costly. Okay, so these are the disadvantages. Okay, fine. Now let us analyze the circuit. Okay, so this is one way of representing the circuit, and the same circuit I'll represent in the other way. Okay, whichever you are comfortable, you can just analyze. But there is one reason for drawing this circuit in this way. I'll show you that. I will tell you that also. So this is diode D1 and this is diode D2. Okay. And now what I did, I have taken, see, if you just observe, no, this RL is just connected between this point and the center point. Okay, so I can just directly connect in this way, RL. Okay, so this seems to be simple. Okay, drawing wise, this seems to be simple. Okay, this is diode D1. This seems to be simple, but why I have specifically drawn like this is to know the current like voltage that is flowing through the RL. Okay, however, like I don't know, whichever you are comfortable, you can just use that. Okay, so now let us start the analysis. Here again, step down transformer. The transformer input will be given to the 230 volts 50 hertz, which is the regular power supply to our houses. Now again, I need to analyze for the positive half cycle and the negative half cycle. So here I'm giving the complete sinusoidal signal. So again, I need to analyze what happens to the output when I have the positive half cycle and I have the negative half cycle. Okay, so 0, pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, so on like that. Okay, so this is the input. Okay, so let me consider that the okay, for half wave rectifier, half cycle, positive half cycle. Positive half cycle in the sense 0 less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to pi. Okay, for this I need to find what is happening. Okay, so let me just redraw the diagram once again. Here I am giving the positive half cycle. Okay, center tap. Let me consider okay, this is diode D1. Okay, let me just take this first circuit. Okay, fine. So here I'm giving the positive voltage, so this will become positive and this will become negative. Okay, and here, as I've already mentioned, the voltage here will be divided equally. It will be Vm sin omega t here also it will be Vm sin omega t. And here, if you observe, there is a center tapping. So with respect to this positive, here it will become negative, and with respect to this negative, here it will become positive. Okay, so this is how the voltage will appear between the upper part and the lower part. Okay, now we need to analyze what happens to diode D1 and diode D2. Okay, so just check the diode D1. If you observe, this is my P and this is my N. So P is connected to positive and N is connected to negative. Okay, so this diode will be forward biased. In the same way, check diode D2. So this is my P and this is my N. P is connected to negative and N is connected to positive. Okay, so this diode D2 will be reverse bias. So let me just replace the diodes. Okay, once again. Again, I did a mistake. Okay, so diode D1 is forward bias. So generally the forward bias diode we will replace with short. Okay, and the reverse bias diode will replace with open. D2 is open. Okay, and here it is center tapped. And now this is plus minus R. Wait, let me just show you the current direction. Then only I'll be able to represent plus on the upper side or plus on the downside. Okay, so this is what this is plus minus Vm sin omega t. Okay, so now again I need to check whether the current will start flowing or not. So only when you know that only when there is closed path the current will flow. Okay, so just see here, you know that the current will start from the positive potential. So from here it will start flowing. It will start flowing in this direction. It will not go here because this is open. This I think you people know this is nothing but the crossover. Okay, so to show that it is not this wire and this wire is not connected. I have just taken the crossover, that's it. Okay, so this will not flow in this direction because this terminal is open. Okay, so what will happen, the current will start flowing in this direction, like this. It is flowing in this direction, it is flowing. So there is a closed path or not? From positive to negative, there is a closed path or not? Closed path is available or not? That is what my question is.
Yes, it is available.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so that is the reason the current will flow. Okay, let me name that current as IL. Okay, and if you observe, the current is flowing in this direction from up to down, in this direction. So this is positive, and this is negative. Or let me write this RL to a little closer. This RL, let me write a little closer so that I will be able to write this voltage across the load as plus here, minus here, and this is V0. Okay, so since the current is flowing through the diode, through the load, I will be able to find current IL, and if current is flowing, then I'll be able to find V0 also. So let us do the mathematical analysis here. So as usual, let us write the equation. So I'll go in the clockwise direction. So minus Vm sin omega t. Okay, plus here I have the diode. Let me consider that there is a small diode resistance available. So plus Rf1 IL plus, anyway, later on we'll consider that this diode resistance is 0. Okay, is very less. Okay, plus RL into IL plus the resistance of the secondary of the transformer, Rs into IL is equal to 0. Now rearrange. So IL I can take common, so it will be Rf1 plus RL plus Rs is equal to this Vm sin, I'll take it to the other side, so it will be Vm sin omega t. Okay, so IL is nothing but Vm by RL plus Rf1 plus Rs into sin omega t. Okay, generally this Rf1, the forward resistance of the diode, and the second resistance of the secondary of the transformer is considered to be very less when compared with RL, so that can be neglected. So here IL will be equal to Vm by RL into sin omega t. Okay, so this is for the positive half cycle from 0 less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to pi. Okay, so if let me just consider, let Im is equal to Vm by RL. So here IL will be equal to Im sin omega t. Okay, this is only from 0 to pi. That is what you need to make a note. Okay, then V0 is nothing but voltage across the load. Where voltage across the load is nothing but current flowing through it and the resistance there. So current flowing through that is IL and the resistance there is RL. Okay, so IL is nothing but Im sin omega t into R, let me just take this one only, Vm by RL. Here let me take this equation only. It is nothing but Vm by RL into sin omega t into RL. So this RL and this RL will get cancelled. So here V0 will be nothing but Vm sin omega t. Okay, so just check here. So now I need to plot the output waveform. So from 0 to pi, first from 0 to pi, since I have analyzed only for the positive half cycle, let me take from 0 to pi. This is 2 pi. Okay, then 3 pi, like that, so on. Okay, so 0 to pi, let me first plot IL. IL is nothing but Im sin omega t. So from 0 to pi, whatever waveform I'll have, the same waveform I'll get here also. So and its peak amplitude is nothing but Im. Okay, and then coming to the output voltage V0. Okay, again 0 to pi. 0 to pi, it will be the sinusoidal signal only from 0 to pi, and the maximum peak voltage is nothing but Vm. Here also it is Vm, and here it is minus Vm. Okay, so this is from for positive half cycle 0 to pi. Okay, hope this is clear to all of you. Is this clear to all of you, or anybody has got any doubts? Please let me know. Anybody want me to repeat anywhere? Anybody want me to repeat anywhere?
No.
Okay. Fine. So now let me go with the negative half cycle. Okay, negative half cycle. Negative half cycle in the sense from pi less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to 2 pi. Okay, now I need to analyze for this. So let me just take the circuit. Here I have diode D1, here I have diode D2. RL. Okay, so here I need, this is diode D1 and this is diode D2. Okay, so now again I need to analyze for the negative half cycle. So negative waveform I have taken, so this terminal will become negative and this will become positive. So with here, since I have taken the center tap, with respect to this negative, this will become positive, and with respect to this positive, this will become negative. Okay, so now here also it will divide equally, Vm sin omega t here also, and here also Vm sin omega t. Okay, now we have to analyze what happens to the diode. Okay, so this is my P and this is my N. P is connected to negative and N is connected to positive. So diode D1 will be reverse biased. Okay, reverse biased in the sense it will work as open. Okay, so let me just open it. Okay, let me just open it. Now coming to the second diode D2. Okay, so this is P and this is N. P is connected to positive and N is connected to negative. Okay, so again this diode will be forward biased. Okay, so forward biased we will replace with short. We will replace with short. Okay, so this is diode D2 and this is diode D1. Okay, so D1 is open circuited and D2 is shorted. Okay, D1 is open and D2 is shorted. Okay, so now again we need to check whether there is any current flow or not. Okay, so let us just check. Say if the current has to flow, it has to flow from this terminal, so it will start flowing in this way. It will go here, it will not go in this direction, it will not go here. Okay, the reason behind that is it is open, so it will start flowing in this direction. So see the direction, it is like down, from up top to down the current is flowing, so it will go in this way and it will end here. Okay, is it forming the closed loop or not?
Yes ma'am, it's forming a closed loop.
It's forming the closed loop. Okay, since it is forming the closed loop, the current will start flowing. Let me name the current as IL only. The reason for choosing this also as IL, because with the center tap the voltage is divided equally. Okay, so since the voltage is divided equally, whatever current that will flow for the positive half cycle, the same current will flow for the negative half cycle also, and if you see the direction also, it is the same. Okay, now just let us apply KVL here. So I'll move in the clockwise direction. Okay, so let me just go in the same direction as the current direction. So this is wait. One second now. Let me draw it properly so that you'll understand how I've taken the equation. So current started flowing in this direction like this. Okay, like this. So this is positive and this is negative and this is V0 and this current is nothing. Okay, so let me move in the same direction like this. Like this, let me take the equation. Okay, so as I'm moving in the clockwise direction, the first symbol is plus. So plus ILRL there. Okay, plus ILRL. The next element is minus Vm sin omega t, and as I've always mentioning, there might be some forward bias diode resistance RF2 into IL plus the secondary of the transformer resistance RS into IL is equal to 0. Okay, just rearrange. IL I'll take common so that I'll be left with RL plus RF2 plus RS, that is equal to Vm sin omega t. Vm sin omega t. So here IL is nothing but Vm by RL plus RS. plus RF2 into sin omega t. Okay, so let me just assume that RL is very much greater than RS plus RF2. Okay, so that these two terms can be neglected. So I will have IL is equal to Vm by RL into sin omega t. Okay, so here I will let Im is equal to Vm by RL. So here IL will be equal to Vm by RL is nothing but Im sin omega t. So this is the equation related to your negative half cycle, and this is from pi to 2 pi. Pi to 2 pi. Okay, now again I need to find V0 is nothing but IL into RL, and if you see the direction of this voltage and the direction of this the direction of the current in this during the positive half cycle and during the negative half cycle, it is the same. So that's why I can take it as positive only. So IL is equal to Vm by RL into sin omega t into RL. So this RL and this RL will get cancelled. So here V0 will be equal to Vm sin omega t. Okay, so this is for pi to 2 pi. Okay, so coming back. Okay, fine. Let me just draw the waveform. So now I want you people to answer whether I'll get the waveform in this way or in this way. We'll get it up or down.
Up.
Why? Can you tell me the reason?
In both cases, current is flowing in the positive direction itself.
Yes. In the same way, the current direction is current direction through the load is in the same direction. So that's why here the current will be, the output current will be the positive waveform only. Here also same. Since the current is positive, the voltage will also be positive. That is what this one. So again, positive half cycle, it will be rectified. Negative half, like even the voltage, you'll get like this. Okay, so this is the output waveform of your full wave rectifier. So whenever in the exam, if they ask you to explain full wave rectifier, then you need to explain both the cases for positive half cycle, negative half cycle, give the waveforms and also the necessary equations always. Okay, and for your syllabus I have not given full wave rectifier. It is until half wave rectifier. Whatever we have seen until half wave rectifier, until here you may get any question. The syllabus is until half wave rectifier. Okay, is this clear to all of you? Anybody has got any doubts? Finally, I can just write the equation as IL is equal to Im sin omega t for 0 less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to pi, and it is also equal to Im sin omega t from pi less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to 2 pi. Okay, so this is the current equation, and coming to the voltage V0 or VL, whatever it may be. Okay, V0 or VL, it is across the load. Okay, it is Vm sin omega t with 0 less than or equal to omega t 5 Vm sin omega t or pi less than or equal to omega t less than or equal to 2 pi. So these are the equations relating to the full wave rectifier. Okay, that's all for now. If anybody anybody has got any doubts, please let me know. I'll explain you. And using these equations, we have to see here again. You may ask me, ma'am, whether DC is present or not. You yourself can tell me whether DC is present or not. DC is present in this signal, yes or no? Yeah. What about DC value in this particular waveform? For the sinusoidal waveform, what will be the DC value, average value? In one cycle, what is the DC value for this sinusoidal signal? Have you understood my question? Have you understood my question now? No. For this one, for the input waveform, what will be the DC value? Okay, DC value is nothing but the average value, right? So here whatever positive values you are getting, the same negative values also you have. So average value, in the sense, what you'll do, you'll add each and every point and divide it by total time period. Okay, so for positive half cycle and negative half cycle, it is same. Okay, so the average value here will be equal to 0. Okay, so that is what you need to understand. Okay, fine. Then when it comes to the current, okay, so what is happening? So each and every point in the one cycle, in the sense from 0 to 2 pi. Okay, so everything will get added. Okay, so here it will have some DC value. In the same way, for the output voltage also there will be some DC value. So again, if you observe here also, it is not the pure DC. Are you getting pure DC here? No. Still it is pulsating DC only. Pulsating DC, in the sense, it will have both AC component and as well as DC component present in it. Okay, so again you need to find out how much DC is present and what is the RMS value. RMS value is nothing but effective value of this particular signal. You need to find out the RMS value. Then again you need to find out the what is that, the efficiency, ripple factor. As I've told you, this is not pure DC, it consists of AC signal as well. So the amount of AC present in this pulsating DC is said to be the ripple. So how much ripple is present in this output waveform will be given by ripple factor. So whatever derivations we have done for your half wave rectifier, the same thing we need to do for this full wave rectifier as well. But only difference is, if you just take the equation, the output equations are varying. Okay, the output equations are varying. Okay, accordingly we need to find the all parameters. Okay, so that's what this is all related to your half wave rectifier and the full wave rectifier. If anybody has got any doubts anywhere, let me